this video, I'm going to show you how to clean stat using clean tier 6 stones. You shouldn't need to what most people call bumper stat anymore, because you can get clean green 98, level 98 plus gear, and that will give you a clean tier 6 stone. Anything lower than 98 is going to give you a tier 5, which is going to cost 3 times more Puries. See, it makes clean tier 6. Okay, the gear I'm going to be making today is already cleaned, plussed, and rune slotted. So I just need to get all of my stats on there. And I stat and tier at the same time because it saves purified fusion stones. So what I like to do is, this house chest is only 5 slots across. I usually like to put it in my bag because it's 6 slots across, and you can line up all 6 stats that you can put on gear. So you can only have 6 named stats on a piece of gear, and they cannot be the same name. So if you notice, these are both Stam HP, both Annihilation. This one is of the Rites though, and this one is of the Ice Blades. So those are 2 different stats. If you try to put the same name, the exact same name on, it will override each other. So it's just going to apply it right on top of each other. It's only going to show up once. So I am actually going to be doing something slightly different. I have a piece of gear here with a protection of the Ice Blades and a guard 16. I want to put both of those on my gear. So instead of extracting this and then purying it to get 2 different tier stones, I'm going to save the extractor and just pury it. If you notice, it's going to put the protection of the Ice Blades on the bottom. That's going to be useful information for when I do my next piece. So now to get my 6 stats, I'm going to use a clean stone. And you can only ever put stuff in the transmuter in 3s, and it always has to be the same tier that you're putting in here. So I double check. These are all 6 different stats. I can check my preview. Always check that before you hit confirm. There's a lot of things that can get mixed up when you're doing stuff like this. I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm. So there's 3 stats on that, and there's 3 stats on this one. 1, 2, 3, and 0. So 3. Check my preview, looks good. I'm hitting confirm. And now, if you were going to tier 7 this, you would get 3 more clean greens, pury them, put them in the transmuter to make a tier 7 that's clean. Double check I have all 6 stats. If you were tier 7ing your gear, you would set your gear in here, and it would make your gear tier 7. Look at the one on the right, not the left. So I have all 6 stat names on there. It's tier 7. If that's what you want, you hit confirm and you're done. I'm going to take my gloves back out. I'm going to be tier 8ing my gear. I recommend doing it at least tier 7. It only costs you 3 more Puries to get this clean tier 7. If you were to put all 6 stats on there ahead of time though, your gear would only be, if you did 3 stats and then another 3 stats, your gear would only be tier 6. And then it would cost you 9 more Puries, because 3 for each tier 7 stone to get it up to tier 7. And that is a lot more expensive. So if you are going tier 7, do it at the same time you're putting your stats on. Okay, so here's my tier 8 stone. Have all 6 stats. Looks good. I'm hitting confirm. I'm going to put my gloves in there. And these are clean tier 8s that I made ahead of time. To make those, you're making 9 tier 6 stones, which makes 3 tier 7 stones, which makes 1 tier 8. So I needed 2 of those, and my one with my good stats. Check my preview. I got my tier 8 and all 6 name stats on there. Going to hit confirm. And my piece of gear is done. I just need to move my runes over. I'm going to do this one more time because I have kind of an advanced technique, if you will, that I do sometimes when you get stuff like this. So if you see this transformed High Priest breastplate, it has a guard 16 and a Mystery of the Ice Blades. I do not want to use the Mystery of the Ice Blades stat, but I would like to use the guard 16. So there's one good stat. There's a Keeper of Eons. Light of the Ice Blades. Annie of the Ice Blades. Annie of Rights. And I put another stat somewhere. Oh. Protection of the Ice Blades. Oops. Okay, so I need to Puri this one. Protection, Annie. This one and this one are slightly different from each other. So this one I can Puri because the guard 16 is lower ranked than the Mystery of the Ice Blades. The Mystery of the Ice Blades is the top stat I am going to be using for this. If you are using orange stats or stats that come out in later caps, you're going to have to adjust accordingly. But for right now, Mystery of the Ice Blades is the top yellow stat. That one I can just go ahead and Puri. If you look in the preview, it bumps the guard 16 to the top. It puts Mystery of the Ice Blades at the bottom. I'm putting that on the far right to remind myself that this one has to be put in the transmuter in the bottom right slot when I transmute it. This one is different because I want to use the Light of the Ice Blades to stam magic defense and not the suppression. So I need to extract this one because I don't want the suppression to get on my gear. So you hit the random attribute extraction. If you see the cross swords, that's where the gear goes. My extractor goes in the right slot, and since there's two stats, it has a 50-50 chance of pulling the stat I want. Ooh, I was successful. If that didn't work, I don't really need this gear, so I could just put a Puri in here and stone it and get my stat. I'm not going to use two extractors on gear I don't want to save. Okay, so that's junk now. Okay, so I got my 6 stats here. All are tier 6. If you have a tier 5 stat, you're going to have to do the same thing as if you had tier 6 gear. Only you're going to have to find tier 5 clean gear. I would look in Rorozan or Wailing Fjord. You could just go to the gear sellers and get a white piece of gear there to make 2 more tier 5s to put with your tier 5 to get a tier 6. At this point in time, unless you are getting stats that are pulled off of something, tier 5 stats are not really worth it anymore. Even bag stats, level 94 blue and above are going to make tier 6s, and level 90 plus purples is going to make tier 6. Okay, so I'm going to start with my 3. Actually, let me put the ice blades with the ice blades just so you can see. Okay, so here's 3 stats. I gotta keep her Eons, Annie of Rights, Protection of the Ice Blades. Go ahead and hit confirm. Okay, this one is a little bit, we gotta be a little bit more careful because it has that Mystery of the Ice Blades. I always put good stat in the middle, good stat top right, good stat with the bad stat bottom right. Check the preview. I got 4 stats on this one, but you always want your bad stats on the same stone, and all of them need to be listed last because it reads it like a list and it puts the ones on the top of the list at the first priority. So the guard 16, doesn't matter where it is in the transmuter, it is lower value than the ice blade stats, so that one always goes at the top. But the 3 ice blade stats, since they are all equal, it reads them in order. So I have the Annie here, light here, so it's 1, 2, 3, Annie, light, mystery. If I was to put this one in the middle, it gets put at the second stat, which we won't be able to push off. Put that back here. Mystery of the Ice Blades listed last. Going to go ahead and hit confirm. And this one, since it has the bad stat, I need to move it over. You don't want to keep that one in the middle. You want to put your one with all the good stats in the middle because it's going to read from that one first. First, second, third. I'm going to go ahead and put this one here. And I got all 6 stats on here that I wanted. Mystery of the Ice Blades did not show up. So that saved me an extractor because Puris are cheaper than extractors. So if you are going tier 7 your gear, you go ahead, pull it in here, check your preview again, hit confirm. I'm going to go ahead and take the gear out, hit confirm, put 2 more tier 8 cleans in here, and put my piece of gear in. That's ready to go. I'm going to hit confirm. Okay, I have 2 more pieces of gear to make. Okay, Okay, so this one is going to be like the one we just made. Or which one do we just make? No, that one would be. This one's going to be like the first one we made. The protection of ice blades and guard 7 are on the same piece of gear. So I am going to parry that one. Close the house chest. Parry that one. Got both stats. And my clean stone, which I just made from a 98 green. So I got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one of these. And you can keep doing, you could do 3 pieces of 2 statted tier 6 stones too, and just throw that on there and make really cheap gear. But you're not going to be very lucky getting double good stats like this one. I fortunately had 2 of them. But if the more you have of double stats, the more clean tier stones you're going to need. So you just have to sub in more. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. 3 stats. Doesn't matter what order these are in unless you like to put them in a special order. You can kind of play around with them. I've seen people that like to put them as long names to short names or short to long. I don't care so much. Okay, and these 3 are different than those 3. Hit confirm. Got my 6 stats in there. If you ever get to this point and you only have 5 stats, 1 stat on here and 1 stat on there are the same stat, so you're going to have to remake one of the stones with new stats. That's important because you can't preview these together until you have them already on a stone. So if you get to this point and there's only 5, you messed up and you gotta see which one's doubled up. Okay, I got my 6 stats. Hitting confirm. Got my 2 clean stones. Looks good. Hitting confirm. Okay, last piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is like the one we made 2 pieces ago. This one, we don't want the Sea of Ice Blades on there, but we can stone it and treat it as a partial bumper statting. Okay, Sea of Ice Blades got put on the bottom. Putting that one on the far right. The stat I'm missing is this one here. And I will parry that one. If you haven't seen these before, these are the Purified Fusion Stone gift boxes, and when you are given a choice, I would get these ones because as you see, they stack up to 20 gift boxes, but you can right click and open one at a time. So I don't have to store 13 different slots. Or if you get like the big purified packages, when you right click that, then all 20 fall out, and whatever you don't use right away, you have to store. Okay, so here's my 6 different stats. This one goes last. We'll pull these in. 3 different stats, looks good. Middle, top right, bottom right for this one. See, Ice Blades got put last, looks good. I move this one to the top right away. This one goes in the middle. This one goes in the bottom. All 6 stats, no C of Ice Blades. So it looks good. Put my gear in. 6 different stats. Tier 8. Looks good. Okay, and that's basically how you clean stat stuff with a few extra things I threw in there that hopefully doesn't confuse anybody. When in doubt, if you don't think you can figure out how I did the fancy things, just use an extractor. You really don't want to mess up because it can get pretty costly. Let me know if you guys have any questions about anything. I can make another video that shows how to plus things. I started off with clean gear, so that's basically like taking this gear and putting in the random extractors to clean it off. If you have a piece of gear with a good stat on it already, then you don't need to clean it off, but you will count that as one of your 6 stats. So you'll only need 5 here, and then you'll need a clean tier 6 to count as so that you still have multiples of 3 and you have six numbers of stats. Okay, good luck making your gear, guys.